What's up, hybrids? Welcome back to another episode of the Fandom Hybrid Podcast. This is Hanako, and I am here with Michelle, and we are discussing the season finale for season 6 of Outlander. And this took place a couple of weeks ago. We've been busy with life, but we needed to go on ahead and get this over with and talk about it. Let's see. Richard Brown has come to the Ridge to arrest Claire for the murder of Malva Christie. And I don't know why he thought that was going to be something simple. Well, I don't think he thought it was going to be simple. He thought that Jamie was going to just turn his wife over with a little less resistance than he did. I don't know who he thought he was coming to see.
Yeah. But however, he planned it just right because nobody was around.
He did. But in a way too was wrong too, because just because he thought people weren't around doesn't mean that nobody was around. Mrs. Bug was still there. Lizzie and one of the twins, I don't know which one it was, they were there, so they were able to go get help. But we said this on the last episode. I said I have a feeling after all of this, Roger and Brianna are not going to go anywhere else. They can't go anywhere else because every time one or both of them leaves, some shit happens at the Ridge. So I need them to stay put. But Richard Brown comes to the Ridge, tries to talk to Jamie about turning Claire over. And while they're having a civilized conversation on the front, some dumb idiot decides he's going to come around the back to try to take Claire, not realizing this is not a woman you want to mess with. Like, they call her a witch for a reason.
She was handling herself.
Let me tell you, this whole shootout in the house, she literally shot this dude in the stomach. He should have died way before he did, especially given that she was not giving medical attention to any of them. But yeah, Claire was like, oh no, y'all not about to take me. And
you're not about to take me.
This whole is first of all, let's talk about the fact that, okay, I got it playing in the background. 1, 2, 3, 4 dudes tried to subdue Jamie when he heard the gunshot. And he was able to fend himself from all of them. He knocked all of them off of him and was getting some good licks in too. Did y'all not pay attention to who y'all were coming to mess with?
No, because you just could have came and have a civilized conversation. Okay, well, we have a murder. And right now, everyone is pointing towards your wife. So we would like to take her and have an actual trial, or we need to do something. We can't just let this go away. But you already know y'all have issues. It would have been better with another group come and do it, but not a Brown. It's just...
Especially not that Brown.
Right. So
not that Brown.
You should have thought about that.
And not only that, this Brown should have thought about the fact Jamie and his people took out all of his brother and his men. Now, granted, Ferguson
or Claire,
I was about to call him Richard. Roger is not there. A lot of the people aren't there, but y'all can't imagine that Jamie and Claire would ever let somebody take her again after what happened to her the last time. I know I said in the last episode, Richard Brown seemed to be the more intelligent of the two brothers, but this episode had me kind of questioning him.
Well, he did. He did a little bit, because he came and he approached the situation and he actually was talking through it. He didn't come like his brother where they, stormed the house and took Claire.
That's true.
So he tried a different way. However, he should have really thought this out and maybe use another person instead of himself, because you have this history.
Yeah, but that's the whole reason why he came, was because of the history. He was like, oh yes, I got him now. I can get him. And I had, he had a solid case as far as what they think is going on. Hey, we're coming to arrest your wife. It's not like he said we're coming to kidnap your wife, or they didn't come to kidnap her. It's not like
prison, or
it's not like they really took her by force. because the gunfight didn't start until dude tried to sneak up on Claire and she ended up shooting him. So it could have gone a whole different way. But again, Claire, she's already dealing with PTSD. She's only recently stopped seeing the image of Lionel Brown. And when I say only recently, probably only days at this point.
Correct.
So she's dealing with she's still dealing with the PTSD. And you and your men are now going to come and try to take her, and someone tried to do it by being sneaky and coming after her in the back. Yeah, that wasn't going to work out well, regardless of how they did it.
True.
It's not. Claire's like, I'm not letting y'all take me again. No.
Especially not at all.
Because back in those times, people don't understand the whole concept of innocent until proven guilty.
No, they don't.
You see that with Richard Brown, as they go from town to town and they're unable to find a court that are able to, that's able to try her. He's just spreading the word about her being a murderess.
And they throwing rocks at her. And I know we jumping ahead and we don't know during this time too, you may not even make it to the court. Something may happen on your travels.
Right. Especially with all of the, like they said, all of the political unrest that's going on. That's the reason why they can't get a trial in, I forgot what town they tried to go to first.
I'm not sure.
Then they were going to Wilmington. And I realized in the last episode, I kept saying Westchester for some reason. I guess I was thinking my daughter used to stay in Westchester, New York, or in that area. So for some reason, I kept saying that. But I was like, why am I saying Westchester's Wilmington? But anyway, so they end up having to go to Wilmington, which is 200 miles away, which they're on horses and a horse-drawn carriage.
Days. And days.
More like, yeah, because I think they had to have been on the road for a few days before Claire even asked there. That. Yeah, because they had to get to the first town first.
Right.
And then, of course, they can't go to Cross Creek because, as they say, his aunt has friends. The circuit judge is a friend of hers. We'll never get a fair trial. Are y'all trying to get a fair trial now?
No, you're not.
No, you're looking for a reason to hang her.
Just to get back, right, to punish Jamie because he killed your brother.
Your brother, who by your own admission, my brother was allowed. He wasn't a good man.
Yes, but still.
And what he did to you was evil. And so you already know.
But he wanted revenge.
But you want revenge on this good man who's just trying to protect his wife. And then he had the nerve to say, I understand, Mr. Fraser. I have a wife too. You would not protect you. Really?
And you wouldn't let anyone even come to arrest her if this was the circumstance.
But no, he probably would, because the thing is, he probably doesn't love his wife the way Jamie loves Claire.
That's true. Which goes back to when they were, in the house and when they decided they were going to wait till the morning. And I just love their conversation and their interactions and everything, and how Jamie has been close to death like several times.
When he started counting, he was like, how many times do you think I've almost died? And they started counting. I was like, oh, wait, are we going down this road? Like, wow, that's a lot.
Yeah.
When you think about it.
He's like a cat. Yeah, about 9 lives.
But yeah, if that's the case, then he's probably only got 1 or 2 left. We still have a lot of stories.
I think he had 7. I think it was 7. So he may only have 2
story left, because if you think about it, this season is based on a little bit of book 5 and a little bit of book 6. There are 9 books in this series so far, with a 10th. So there's a lot of story left to tell. I need Jamie to slow his roll on his, rolling the dice on his 9 lives, because he's like on 6 or 7 now. And I don't even, I'm seriously thinking, I'm like, I don't even know if they got it all.
They probably didn't. They probably didn't. Times that he didn't realize that he was really close to death, and they probably didn't count that.
Right.
No, not at all. Not at all. So for me, what was interesting is Tom Christie speaking up and say, I would ride along. Now, I had watching this episode, I was thinking about how he really hasn't even said anything about his daughter dying and about Claire being involved. He hasn't been very vocal at all.
Mm-hmm.
And then for him to say, "Oh, I will make sure I'll follow along."
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yes, it
I
is.
kind of feel some things.
Well, I went back and
I'll tell you what I'm
rewatched this.
thinking.
Yeah, I went back and rewatched this episode on Monday. Today's Wednesday. I rewatched it on Monday. And of course, I know what happens in the books and I know how
Okay.
the story is playing out. But of course, we don't know if that's how it's going to play out in the show because
Mm-hmm.
they do have a tendency to change some things. So I really paid attention to like his facial expressions. And also because we were talking about the Allen conspiracy in the last
Mm-hmm.
episode, I also paid attention to Allen. I really feel like Tom stepped up because he knows that he knows that Claire didn't kill Malva.
I believe that.
And two, I can't tell whether or not he knows for sure who did, but I will say with all certainty, he knows that. I feel like he knows that Claire didn't do it and maybe Alan did. And he's trying to protect his son.
Oh, I'm thinking he knows that Claire didn't do it because the time he spent with her and the type of person she is.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like he has some feelings.
Oh, I feel that too. Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I was like, okay, wait a second. Because at first, in other episodes, he was like, ooh, this woman. And I'm like, yeah, you kind of like her a little bit. But here, I'm like, oh, you really actually like concerned for her.
Mm-hmm. But also, I think part of it is the fact that he has feelings for her, but also, too, I think he's worried about his conscience, too.
Mm-hmm.
Because even if he's not protecting anybody, even if he doesn't know who killed Malva, I think he spent enough time with Claire to know that she wouldn't,
Mm-hmm.
And for her to be taken to court, possibly hanged for a murder that she did not commit,
mm-hmm.
that would weigh on him heavily.
Yeah.
Especially given the type of pious man that he is.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's doing it a lot for his conscience, but also, yeah, I do think there's some feelings there. Maybe not any feelings that he was willing to admit, at least not until the end of the episode when he had to leave her in the jail. When he gave her the money for her upkeep and then he kind of touched her hand before he left, I was like, oh yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And then also just the way he was looking at her and Jamie was looking at him like, oh, that's what it is. It's one of those like, I know what it looks like to look at someone that you were in love with.
Yeah.
And Jamie just looked at him.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think he said anything because he was like, okay, you know what? As long as he loves her and is willing to step up to protect her, Jamie is probably like, okay, I'm gonna let that slide. One, because he knows he doesn't have anything to worry about. But
right. And I think to have an extra person to watch out for her. I'm thinking he's like, yeah, this will work.
And not only that, but I don't think he's worried about Tom may feel something for Claire. He may even realize that he feels something for Claire. But I don't think he's the type of man who would ever act on it or even say anything about it, especially knowing how Claire feels about her own husband.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just one of those things where he will suffer in silence, like love her in silence, but he will do what he needs to do to protect her without ever making that known. I feel like that's kind of where we've gotten with him.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason why I said I feel like he might be protecting Alan is because when the Fisher folk came the next or that night to try to get Claire to turn herself in, and then Claire and Jamie's people came to defend them, Alan was on the side with the Fisher folk, of course. And when they were trying to go back and forth about whether they should take Claire, oh, Jamie, you should go with her, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. Well, who will ensure our safety? Who will ensure that, that we can trust you? And then that's when Tom speaks up. When Tom says, I will ensure it. It's my justice if it's anyone's. And the way the camera kind of cut to Alan, and Alan was looking at his father, and he looked at him and then he kind of rolled his eyes down. And I was like, yeah, there's something there.
Mm-hmm.
There's something there. I don't know whether or not he has confessed to his father, or maybe they even know who did it, but because it could have been one of the fisher folk. Again, we don't know how many people Malva was involved with. So we don't know. It could have been somebody else in their group that they don't want to accuse or expose. It could be a lot of different things, but I really have a feeling it has something to do with Alan. And it's because, as you and I have talked over the season, we've noted that Alan is very overprotective of his sister. And in some instances, she seemed like she was scared of him, when right after she accused Jamie and Claire went to go see her. Remember, Claire was still talking to her very gently, very much.
And she was about to break down.
Mentor and like the friend that she tried to be to her. And I feel like she almost confessed to Claire what she was doing. And then Alan came out and her behavior took a complete 180. So I do feel like Alan has something to do with it. To the extent, I'm not sure, because again, book and show, they could be doing something totally different.
Mm-hmm. But
so it might not be Alan at all, but I don't know, just something about, I always pay attention when certain scenes happen and the camera pans to a different character and then pans back. It's like you put the camera on that person for a reason.
Like at that funeral. For a reason.
Right. So I have a feeling it does have something to do with
that baby coffin. It does. And I feel like Tom Christie being with Jamie in the past, I think he also realized that Jamie did not lay with his daughter.
Right.
He didn't say much about it, but he knows what type of man he is.
Yeah.
And I think he realized, okay, he's going to say some nasty things, but he's probably going to say, you know what, she's just like her mama, but I don't think it was Jamie. So then I'm okay if they say, horrible things to Jamie, they do something to Jamie, because I really don't care for him.
Right.
But Claire, she got swept up into this. No, I got to make sure she's okay. Right. And she didn't do anything wrong. Mm-hmm. Yes, sometimes she has a foul mouth. She reads dirty books.
Right. But the other thing too is, if you think about it, if you know that the type of person that Claire is, and then what Malva did, especially if you somehow find out that Malva lied, think about also what kind of guilt he may be feeling, like, oh, my daughter brought pain to your household. This was somebody that you brought into your household, that you trusted, that you mentored, that you essentially kind of sort of took care of. And she came into your home, she betrayed your trust, she lied about your husband, put you guys in a bad spot, ruined your reputation, ruined his reputation. He could be feeling guilt for all of that, because regardless of whether or not Malva is his biological daughter, that is the child that he raised. And for her to do something that callous and that calculating and that evil, that probably weighs heavily on him too. Like, this is not what I raised her to be. But of course, like we said, he's always making, the comment, you're evil just like your mother, or, something to that effect. So, and going back to what you said earlier about he hasn't really said anything about his daughter being dead. I don't know if I want to say he doesn't care, but I think maybe in a way Malva's death might be a relief for him.
Right. And he kind of, I hate to say it because he kind of said it, he kind of feels like she kind of got what she deserved and there's nothing else to say about it.
Like, she was a sinner, she did things she wasn't supposed to do, and
he probably feels like she's like her mother, and oh well.
Right. And like, now he doesn't have to worry about trying to keep her in line.
Nope. But he's gonna miss beating her.
Yeah, doesn't have to worry about the quote unquote damage to their reputation, because she's gonna be an unwed mother. So I really kind of feel like he really, like I said, I don't want to say he doesn't care, but like you said, in his mind, she deserved it.
Right.
If she got, you reap what you sow. He is a man of the Bible. You reap what you sow.
Right. And his feelings about it, that's his feelings. And that's it.
Right.
So
everything has a cost.
He shows more feelings towards Claire than he does what's going on with his daughter. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I feel it. But also, too, the other thing is, did you see how he's looking on this horse? Like, he looks like he is about to fall out. I don't know if he's still sick or if it's almost like
a weight
is weighing on him.
A weight on his shoulder.
Yeah, because he's sitting there while they're riding and he's just like this. And Claire even notices, she was like, poor Tom doesn't look like he's going to make this journey. Think about it. Jamie and Claire, they're captive, but they're in a carriage. They're not doing anything, they're not overexerting themselves physically on this journey. But can you imagine riding a horse for more than 200 miles?
Well, look at the other men. The other men are like, do we really have to do this?
Well, I think part of that too is kind of like what Claire and Jamie said. I don't think those men actually expected to have to take her to trial. I think they were going to try to do their own justice on the road and just maybe be like, oh, well, she died or an accident happened or something.
Or the closest court. You know what I'm saying? They didn't think that they were going to have to go 200 miles. That's not what I signed up for, sir.
Right. They don't care about all this. Not like
Mr.
that.
Brown, I didn't sign up for it.
They didn't even know Malva.
No, that's what I'm saying. They were like, we don't really have food. Why are we doing this?
Mm-hmm. This is personal for Richard Brown.
Yes,
but the
very
rest
much
of them
so.
are like, we don't care. We don't care.
They're tired. Tom's tired.
And they're probably not getting paid for taking her in. That's the other.
No, they're not. No one's looking for her, so there's no bounty on her. No, you're doing this on your own.
Right, because truth be told, they could have handled that on the ridge. If the Fisher folk really felt like Claire was the one who was guilty, they could have come to her house that night, just like they did with their stakes and all the other stuff, and they could have had their own justice.
They could have,
or
they could ungrateful company. They could have packed their things and found a different home.
Well, that's the thing. I'm like, okay, if they ever get out of this, when Jamie gets back to the ridge, he needs to get out and motherfuckers.
Right, they are evicted. I am foreclosing on your little hut cabin.
Bye. Get the hell on. Because they don't deserve to be there.
No, and we haven't had any problems. But when they came,
they don't deserve to be there.
Just go away. Just go away.
And even if, you only saw a few of the original, like Jamie's people, the Artsmere people show up. But I'm like, excuse me, for all those of y'all who have known him for years, especially those of y'all who were in prison with him, y'all know how this man was by his wife. Everybody who was with Jamie knew about Claire. Why y'all think he gonna step out on Claire with this little young girl now, 20 years after the fact? This man thought his wife was dead and she was restored to him. You really think he's about to screw that up? Do y'all not understand the kind of man Jamie Fraser
He didn't even get love in prison. He didn't require anyone's touch. So you know what kind of man he was. When y'all always craving for just someone to touch you, I understand that. Get a little hug. You know what I'm saying? You're lonely. Right. He was like, no, I would dream of my wife, my angel. So y'all was looking at him like, can we just get a group hug, snuggle? No. So you already know how he is. So why would he even do anything now when she's right there, just sweating in bed? She'll get over it. She'll be better. I got my wife.
And killed and slaughtered a whole group for coming on into his house and snatching her and violating her.
Right. They didn't go to court.
No.
They didn't even make it. That's 5 minutes.
If the Fisher folk really thought that Claire was guilty, they could have handled that shit in-house.
They could have.
Why do they need to go into town?
Excuse me, because they're afraid. Because I wouldn't handle it either. Because if we did something to Claire, he would burn us all. So,
man, those Fisher folk, they need to be evicted. And like Claire said, in her, I think it was her voiceover, she was saying that if the word was traveling, or maybe she said it to Jamie, but she was saying if the word was traveling as fast as it was from town to town, maybe it would get to Edenton, or it would get to Roger and Brianna before they got to Edenton.
mm-hmm.
Because if it gets to Edenton, if it gets to New Bern, if it gets to Roger, and if it gets to Fergus, Richard Brown and his folks gonna have some problems.
Yep, they will.
They're gonna have some problems. If it gets to Cross Creek,
there'll be some problems.
It's gonna be some problems.
Well, first of all, it's a problem for the MVP of the episode, young Ian. MVP. That man is an awesome hunter. He tracked him down, was in the woods watching.
Right. And then when Jamie was about to get killed.
Shoot.
I was like, wait. I was trying to figure out, like, where did that come from? He was like, oh, y'all not about to touch my uncle. And not only that, he brought the Cherokee with him.
Yes. That's what I'm like, well, first of all, he must have left when he talked to him when he went to the restroom. He must have left and got the Cherokee and say, come on, friends, let's go.
Because he said, I think he may have had somebody with him and they were tracking. So he was probably like,
I think so. I think he did.
I need you to go get the Cherokee. I'm going to follow my uncle. And of course, he can't split himself because I'm sure he would have followed Claire too. But I think maybe even
he knew it was better to get Jamie first.
Okay, right. And not only that, Tom went with Claire to ensure. So I think at this point, this is the person whose daughter you murdered. Even if he was doing it for revenge reasons, like, oh, I want to see her get tried, you have to know that he's not going to let her out of his sight, and he's going to want to see justice done. Again, this is Tom Christie. He is not the type of person that's going to take matters into his own hands.
No. He's
not going to allow others to take matters into their own hands. He wants
things to be fair.
Right.
So,
and by the book.
And
by the book. He wants it done right because he doesn't want that on his conscience. You know? So I think even if Ian would have had a choice, once he saw Jamie being attacked and then Claire being taken away, he had to make a choice because probably by that point, whoever was with him had already gone to get the Cherokee.
Right.
There's only so much Ian can do by himself.
Right. He evaluated the situation, and the bigger threat was to Jamie at the moment. And then he knew that he needs Jamie too to go rescue Claire.
Yep. But let me tell you that Ian, because when everybody else came and Ian didn't show up, I was like, okay, I'm like, Lizzie, where the fuck
right. But he popped up out the trees. Hey, Uncle.
I was sitting there laughing. I was like, did Jamie ever get a chance to pee?
I don't know.
Because I think once he saw Ian there, the urge might have been gone. He turned around and went back to the cart. I was like, okay. I mean, because they had to start you about to pee, and then you see your nephew's face. It's kind of like, oh, wait. Yeah. But I mean, Ian, for them having gotten a few days head start, you know, that joker was determined. Because as soon as he got off that horse, said they took him, you know, he probably got right back on that horse and turned his ass right on around. Did.
That's why he is the MVP.
Let me tell you, he was amazing. And just the calm way that he was shooting off those arrows when they were on the beach. He was just like, he shot one person. Then he turned around, he loaded that bow and arrow again, let off another one. And I was like, he just looks so calm doing this.
I love it. Like, I love it.
He wasn't worried about nothing.
Nothing happening to him. I love it. Okay, next season or 2 seasons from now, I want him to find a love of his own.
He needs to. He deserves
I want
to.
to have some kids. He does, and nothing better happen to him.
Oh no. Mm-mm. Ian has already had enough happen to him. He doesn't need to
For
go
a lifetime. No.
for a lifetime.
Yes.
He doesn't need no. But
So
he has toyed with danger since his birth. When Jenny gave birth to him in the bed and Jamie had to take him and hide him in that room when the redcoats came, that was baby Ian.
yep.
So he's been dealing with danger from jump. So yeah, I just need him to have like a nice, quiet life, have a couple of bairns and just be good and retire with Rollo sitting on the porch and just enjoying themselves. But for now, he needs to keep being the badass that
Yes.
he is.
Yeah, and he was. And then the
Because
side
once they get to Claire, it's gonna be on. Like I said, it's gonna
hell's
be
gonna
on.
break loose.
Especially if Roger and Fergus find out. Because see, that part of the books I don't remember. I don't really remember what happens as far as when Claire goes to trial and all this other stuff. So it's going to be surprising to me to see what they do in the show. I'm sure I'll probably have reread it again because I just restarted reading I want to say Echo in the Bone. So I'll probably get to that point before season 7 starts. But yeah, I want to see how that's going to happen. But you have Jamie who's pissed at this point, especially not only because y'all took his wife, y'all took him and his wife, y'all done shot up the house.
Yes, you said we weren't going to be separated either.
And then you separated us.
And then you tried to kill me.
After you said y'all was shipping me back home to Scotland. So y'all lied, y'all have been sneaky, you've not been men of your word, and now you have my wife somewhere that I don't. Oh no, Jamie is about to go through hell and high water to find his wife, just like she did way back in season 1 when he got taken to Wentworth, and she did that cross-country trek with Myrta going to look for him. That's what
he was determined,
and he is too.
And this was the beginning of the relationship.
Right.
Okay.
They didn't have 20 some years of history then. So yeah, I just feel for whoever's in that town and whoever's holding her, because when Jamie Fraser gets there, it's about to be a massacre. It is. It just is.
And I'm like, I don't know if he's gonna actually let her go the trial, or he's just gonna break her out and she just be a wanted lady. I don't know. This is gonna be a lot. He's gonna have to play his cards right.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because they can't be fugitives. They're too
distinct. That's what I'm saying. They have to play the cards right with that one. So
they're too distinct.
Yeah.
You have a Scotsman with red hair, fiery red hair, with an English wife.
Yeah. So, But on the side commercial break, we have Roger and Brianna on their little vacationing honeymoon,
going to the presbytery so that Roger can become a minister.
Yes.
Now, I liked these scenes. It was really cute. Just seeing them just kind of being carefree for a moment.
Yeah, it was nice. I was saying, like a vacation, honeymoon, enjoying themselves.
Sammy playing and running off, and they're not having Brianna not having to freak out thinking Stephen Bonnet is in the woods waiting for him. It was really nice.
The longest sex scene ever, almost. No, it wasn't. I'm just joking.
I was gonna say,
but I was like,
Jamie and Claire in this episode, they were kind of.
No, it was, but I was just like, okay, excuse me, and we're still going. All right, I have to close my eyes a little bit.
Yeah, but they've probably been on the road for weeks. They probably needed to let off.
It was carefree. It was the the vacationing sex. However, during this episode, we have found out that Roger, you are the daddy.
I'm so glad they did that. They finally did it. They finally put it to bed. They finally put it to rest. We know that Roger is officially Jem's daddy. So now Stephen Bonnet doesn't have to haunt Brianna ever again. In that sense, you know. And I don't know. I feel like she's put the rape kind of behind her, especially because of the fact that he's dead. And technically speaking, dead by her hand, even though he was sent to drown, she put him out of his misery, but still she had control over that. So I think I won't say she'll never get over it, but I think she's past it now to the point where it's not controlling her life like it was. But now to have this one little doubtful thing.
Truly past now.
Yes.
The only thing was I didn't realize that they still had questions about it. I was just going for, yeah, it's Roger's child. However, I didn't realize they still had like a 10% chance.
Yeah, I think with any situation like that where you don't know for sure.
Know. Right. Because I remember they were thinking it was
one of those things that was just kind of in the back of their mind, like maybe they really didn't think about it, and that's why that revelation hit them at the same time, or hit Brianna, because Roger didn't even think of it. He was just like, oh yeah, those things are hereditary. Right. And like, Roger, he was like, oh wait, they're hereditary. Right. And I think that was kind of what brought it forward. But I don't think at this point, I don't think they really worried about it.
No, because I think that a little bit of knowing that he can pass through the stones gave them some like, he could be really from both of us at this point, not just from Brianna, but from both of us. He's a traveler. So it was just that still that 10% of we still need some more confirmation. And that was a confirmation.
I'm glad. But Jim, he was so sweet when they were sitting there talking. He was like, I want to talk to the baby. He's like, hi, baby. I love you, baby. When he was talking to Brianna's stomach, I don't know if you realized that's what he was doing. I was like, he's so sweet. It's nice to see them have some sweet moments, especially given the fact that her parents are going through the hell right now. But it was
extreme opposite.
Right. It was nice to have those nice moments. It was nice to have tense sex and see that. I mean, we got two very passionate, very lovely lovemaking scenes in this episode, both with Jamie and Claire and with Roger and Brianna. And it's just kind of, again, that kind of thing to kind of break up the horrible things that are happening
around them.
Yeah, and luckily right now for Roger and Brianna, they're bliss. They're in bliss. They're having bliss. They're blissful. They have no idea of any drama that's taking place right now. They're not worried about anything. As far as they know, mom and dad are safe on the ridge, and the only thing that they're probably worried about is, Lizzie and her husband's.
Right. And my mom still had people turning their heads saying, oh yeah, she murdered Malva. That's it.
But you know what?
But that's not a concern.
Yeah, because I really think that if Brianna and Roger thought that there was something serious that was going to come out of that, I don't think they would have left Claire.
No, they wouldn't have. But I don't think that even bothers. First of all, if Claire did everything she did in the past by was she a ward nurse, right? Doing everything, going to be a doctor. She has had people talk about her. So at this point, it's like, I don't really give a fuck.
Right.
And her daughter knows that. Like, that will not bother my mom, and they will get over it. We know the truth. So.
Yeah, but she didn't think about the Browns. So.
Well, I don't think no one really did.
Yeah.
They just really thought this would go away. I mean, it hurt Jamie's career a little bit, and they were just going to move on.
Yeah. Oh, but like I said, I hope the word gets to them, like they hear what's going on before things get too advanced, and then maybe they can turn around and go. I don't know what they could do if they had to go back. Because one, Brianna is pregnant. They do have Jim with them. They're not going to put him in danger. So I don't know, would they stop in New Bern and leave him with Marsley and the kids and then go to do whatever? Because once they find out what's going on, they're turning back. There's no doubt about that in my mind.
Yeah, I
They're
believe
gonna
that
turn
too.
back.
So that will be, I believe that will be next season. I do.
Mm-hmm. Has to be. We have 17 episodes to fill.
Oh Lord.
So they gotta give us that stuff. And I feel like we'll get the conclusion to what happened to Malva as well.
We will.
I don't think it's gonna take the whole 17 episodes. They'll probably finish those in the first few episodes because we are dealing with an adult William next season. And I know that doesn't happen, I think, at least for another book or two where he's like grown.
Okay.
So I don't know where they're going to pick up his story. Like if they're going to have him and Brianna meet or any of that stuff, or if he's going to find out that Jamie is his dad. Cause I think I got up to partway through book 7 and they hadn't made that reveal yet, as far as I remember. So I don't know if we'll get that next season too, but they do need to go ahead and kind of resolve this, because like I said, there's so much more story they have to tell, and I don't really want to focus on the like Malva. Yeah, she was a great character.
It won't last long.
I don't even think I don't want it to drag on.
17 episodes. I don't think the trial will last long. Malva, that will be cleaned up in 2 episodes.
I think so. Maybe 2, maybe 3 at the most if they drag it out. But I don't think.
Yeah.
The
I
only
think
way
it'll
I
be
can see
2
them
for that
dragging
and
it out is if we have to go. I don't know. No, I think you're right. Maybe about 2 episodes.
And maybe the trial is 3.
Longer.
Maybe trial is 3 or 2.
On the 3rd episode. Okay. But that could be 2nd episode too, especially because this season we got longer episodes.
Okay. So
so we may have it within 2 episodes.
Then we'll have an episode of them settling back home. Then there'll probably be one dealing with our traveler that was brought up in the jail a couple of episodes ago. Mm-hmm. Then we have to get the sides again.
Have her baby.
Yes.
We need to catch up with Ferguson Marsley because I miss him.
The upcoming war.
Yep.
And then we'll be introduced to another, I was gonna say villain, but another person that interrupts the flow of their life. Maybe not. Maybe. I'm trying to remember. With 17 episodes, I mean, it has to be another person.
Yeah, definitely. Well, and I don't even know if I want to say it's like a specific person
or a group of people.
We are about to deal with the war.
Okay.
So it may not just be one particular person. We may focus a lot on the war.
Okay.
So,
but the conflict tends to be, it's still like an individual person within the conflict of a major conflict. The major conflict is the war. So then it got to be somebody in the war that's going to cause or confront Jamie or, make people pick sides. I don't know.
It'll probably be the new governor.
Yeah.
Governor Martin.
These are all my predictions.
Yeah, because you haven't gotten this far in the books.
No.
Okay.
And then Lizzie gonna have her baby. So we'll see that.
I wonder if she's gonna have 1 or 2. Is she gonna have twins?
I like that idea. Twins.
I mean, her
Let's say twins.
Are twins.
Twins. So twins.
Right. And let's say she's been intimate with both of them. So she's got a chance that it's going to be twins, which will make things just way more complicated on the ridge.
And then it makes it really complicated if they fraternal twins. Because then one can belong to one brother and then the one can belong to the other.
Let's not. Oh, no, that's too much.
I'm just saying. So, 17 episodes, that's a lot. I mean,
it is. But yeah, Claire is gonna, I was wondering about when Claire, when she got put into the jail cell and Tom Christie was giving her the money, when the warden of the jail was walking back towards her cell, the woman who was in the cell across from her, the camera flashed to her as well, looking at Claire. And I was like, did she see Tom Christie give Claire that money? And if so, what is she going to do? Like, is she going to tell on Claire? Is she going to spill the beans on Claire to get her freedom? And how is that going to work into the story? Like I said, I pay attention when they do stuff like that, like they shift the camera
because
to
it
a
means
particular
something.
person.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't just do that just willy-nilly. There's a reason you show that person. So I don't know if that's a person who will be Claire's adversary, or if it's somebody who will be like, hey, well, I can help you get out of here if you do such and such, or if you give me some of the money.
Or I will confess. She confessed to me that she did it. Now let me free. So, 17 episodes, a lot can happen. How many more seasons do we get? Did they confirm how many seasons until like the end?
All I know right now is that they are renewed through season 7. So this next season that we're getting, I have not heard anything about a season 8 yet. Probably won't hear anything about that until maybe next year when they get ready to air season 7. They might tell us right before then, or they might wait and see what the ratings are like after the premiere season 7, and then say, okay, we'll do season 8. But I hope they don't wait that long.
I don't either. And I hope
because Outlander has a big enough fan base, I think that they should order, that it should be obvious that they should renew the season. But I don't know how those things work. I mean, just like with Wheel of Time, they're only filming season 2 now, but they recently got renewed for season 3 as well.
Right. And then if they only do season 7 and then say, okay, well, we're going to cancel it, I better get a 3-hour movie to finish this up.
I am hoping
I don't know, we had to go GoFundMe. I need to see this in.
Yeah, I don't think we're in danger of having it canceled. I really don't. So because Outlander is one of Star's biggest properties, and like I said, they have a huge fan base, not just us. It's an international fan base.
Right. And then you have friends who don't even know. Like I have some friends who are watching it, don't even know it was a book.
A lot of people don't. Yeah. they do.
So they have no idea.
Yeah. So
you're like, oh, this show was good. I'm like, yes.
You're like, yeah,
I'm trying to read the books. Oh, they're books? Yes. So
yeah. So
and they're just getting into it now. So they're like, oh man, I could binge seasons 1 through 6.
I feel like I need to do that too, because it's been a while since I've seen, like, I know seasons 1, 2, and 3, I binge watched several times. So I've watched those seasons multiple times. Season 4, I think I may have only seen twice or 3 times. And then season 5, I've only seen twice. So I think it's time for me to go back and kind of go back and rewatch it. But at the same time, like I said, I just started rereading. I want to say it's Echo in the Bone that I started on. So I just started that, and of course I'm doing all Dragon Con prep for everything. So I don't know when I'll have time, but I do want to go back and kind of rewatch it and just kind of see how things play out, like especially now that we know where the story has gone, just to kind of go. But I like to go back and rewatch it just to see if I look at things differently now that I know what has happened, up until this point. So I really want to do that, but it's kind of like I think I want to focus on the books more, because now I'm really curious. Like, I really don't remember what happened to Claire once she got arrested and once she got taken to the town. So I'm like, oh, I really do need to go back and read that so I can be prepared.
Right. And you can let me know.
I'm not gonna do that. That's a spoiler. You have to read with me if you want to know.
I still can guess.
We don't do yes, you can guess, and you've done very well with the guessing. You've done very well with guessing some things. There are some things that you have even guessed that don't happen until later that I'm just like, okay. But yeah. So yeah, I think we do need to read.
Yeah, we do.
Do a rewatch and just kind of go back over and see if there's things that, like, especially for this season, like we've been talking a lot about Alan and what may have transpired between him and his sister. Go back and rewatch the episodes that he's in and just really pay attention to his face and see if that gives away any clues. See if Tom Christie's behavior gives away any clues. Because again, watching him in this episode, it was kind of like, I feel like he knows that something is going on or that something is not right.
And again, they pan to Alan when they were outside. And for me, I don't know how the show was, going with it, but the biggest tell for me was the funeral. And I guess from watching it back to back, that episode back to back, like watching it and rewatching it, just look at that episode, the funeral. It was like, I'm confused what's going on here.
Yeah.
Which makes me go back and look at the point when Claire was talking to Malva and she was about to break down and he comes on now.
And her demeanor completely changed. Yeah. So again, if it's not him personally, because again, we are talking 1700s, we are talking about the type of situation where, yes, there were instances of incest in those days and stuff like that, and people try to cover it up. So if it's not that, then again, I feel like Alan knows who knocked her up and probably told her, hey, go accuse Mr. Fraser, because he will have to take care. Because again, Jamie is not the type of person, like we said, even when he's been accused of doing what he did, or what he didn't do, but even though he's been accused, he's never publicly disparaged Malva's name by saying it wasn't true. He's the type of, he's letting people think what they want because he knows the truth and Claire knows the truth.
And that's all that matters.
Right. But whenever they're behind closed doors, and when he said it to Tom and to Alan, he was like, oh no, she is lying because this did not happen. But when it comes to anybody else outside of his family and her family, he hasn't said anything. He's like, okay, y'all keep accusing me of this thing, I'm gonna keep my mouth shut. So yeah, I feel like Alan probably realized that about his character, that like, oh yeah, we can accuse him, he'll never say nothing.
Right.
Because again,
but he feels guilty about something. He feels guilty about something because you can see that guilt on him too.
But like we said, Jamie is a character who values honor above everything else. So he wouldn't do something like that, like say, oh no, she's a liar, y'all are lying, blah blah blah. He's not going to do that because again, she's dead, she can't defend herself, so and Jamie is that type of person who wouldn't say anything bad about her if she's not there to speak up for herself. So it's just,
and we will see next season in those 17 episodes.
Maybe the first two.
Oh yeah, the first two. Don't drag it out to episode 10.
Right. Because now I do want to go read the book to find out what happens next in the story, because then that'll give me an idea of what they might be doing for for next season. Because again, they're bringing in William, and the person that they cast is an adult. So unless they're doing William like at like maybe very, very, very late teens, early 20s, then that kind of changes where I think the story might go. So like, are they going to put in the whole William and Jamie conflict? Like, is William going to find out who he really is, and how is that gonna happen? Because again, I haven't gotten that far in the books. I do know that William finds out, and I do know that he's not pleased about it, but I don't know how that comes about and how it's resolved. Like, does William ever forgive Jamie or Lord John for lying to him? And I don't know how that's gonna play. he has to, but
Yes.
he can hold a grudge for a long time if he wants to. He is still the ninth Earl of Ellesmere, So, it might be one of those things like when that information is it revealed publicly? Like, do people now know that he's not really the ninth Earl of Ellesmere? Like, how does that affect his life? So I don't know any of that. So I'm curious to see how they're going to bring that in the next season. And then now I really want to go and read that. But at the same time, I kind of don't, because I want to see how they're going to do it in the show. Because they're going to have to cut some corners on the show from the story. They're going to have to do some things differently, because you can't put, information from a book this thick
right
into a show. No matter how long that show is, there's always going to be things that you're going to take out and have to tweak in order for it to fit a visual medium. So
right. And then we still dealing with COVID, so that changes dynamics of things too. And who's in the scene, who's not in the scene,
right?
Just how they do things. So
I'm so sick of COVID.
Yeah, someone call it the post-COVID. So that changes a lot too.
Right. So I don't know. I'm ready for it. I don't know. Like, I know they started filming maybe about a month ago. And I know that we've seen like a few updates, but I don't know how far into filming they are. I mean, they're filming 17 episodes. So it's not going to be a quick 2-month, 3-month, 4-month shoot. They're probably going to be filming maybe for the rest of this year.
Mm-hmm.
So we probably won't even see season 7 until maybe next fall or early 2024, which sucks. As long as it's not another 655 days, but we'll probably get close to it. It'll probably be close to that. So, but that's okay, because if we're not getting it until late 2023, early 2024, that means they can already start filming season 8 while season 7 is still on the air.
It should.
That's what we're going to claim. We're going to speak that into existence, because we have to have a season 8. I don't think there's any way you can wrap up this whole story with everybody, even if they find out, okay, so we're not getting renewed for season 8. You have to close it up in season 7. Because I don't think they would leave us on a cliffhanger if they know that there's a chance they're not going to get renewed.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
I hope not. We don't have a GoFundMe.
Yeah, when they did season 6, we had already known that season 7 was coming, because season 6 and 7 got renewed at the same. I mean, they got renewed for those seasons at the same time. So it's kind of like, yeah, we left y'all on a cliffhanger with Claire, being in jail, and Jamie being rescued, and now is going off to find her, because you're coming back. So I don't know. I want to hear some news soon, so that can kind of set our mind at ease, and we can just start planning for what we're doing next year. So yeah, but
it gives us time to get through the books.
This is true.
But
yeah, this episode was great. It did have a lot of action, a lot of the fight scenes were good, but I mean, Ian and the Cherokee coming to Jamie's rescue, that was just amazing, because it wasn't what I expected.
No, it wasn't.
I figured MVP. I just realized John Quincy Myers is with him too. So yeah. So I wasn't expecting any of that. And then they show up. And when the guy is like holding the gun to Jamie's head, like, you'll never, Jamie said, no, we need him alive because he knows where Claire is. And the guy is looking at them like, you can't kill me. And then Ian's like, well, we know where she is too, Uncle.
Bam. Bye. Love it. MVP.
Yeah.
And MVP. That was fabulous.
Yeah. And I've said Ian has always been one of my favorite characters.
Yes.
So just seeing him riding in to save the day. And it's only 2, 4. He only brought 5 other people with him.
That's all he needed. He may have only needed 2, but he brought 5.
But you know what? Maybe he sent some other people to follow Claire. That's why he knows where
That's
they
true too.
why they know where she is. So oh, that's fine. Come on, Ian.
You
Just
taking care of business. Taking care of business.
making sure he was like, yo, y'all not about to mess with my uncle. This is the man who has taken care of me since birth. Nope, y'all not about to do it. Not about to do it. So, oh, I loved it, but it hurts because we only got 8 episodes and it's over now, and now we have to start the wait again. Droughtlander is in full effect.
Yes, but it gives us time again to rewatch all the seasons and to read the books.
Yes, it does.
Especially the ones of us that starting at 1.
Well, you know what? Since unfortunately I'm not doing the Outlander panels this year at Dragon Con, I can start back at 1 with you because I started back in the middle because I was like, okay, we're going to be doing book discussion, then I need to be prepared. But I can start at book 1 with you now.
Yeah.
So we can do that. That would be fun. And then that would give us something else to talk about during Droughtlander. You know, we can come back and just kind of do a general discussion on the books, you know.
Yeah, and compare just
and especially with you being a first-time reader of the books. You know, that would be interesting to find out what you think now that you've seen the show. You read the books, like what do you think about the changes that they've made? You know, I know that there are certain things that they cut out from the books as far as the storylines. And I don't think it's affected the show negatively, but there are some things, you know, with every book to page to screen property, there's always something that's missing from the adaptation that you wish would have made it in there. So it'll be interesting to talk about that stuff and just kind of see where we are, and then, you know, kind of then do our speculations or our theories. Look, is your partner sitting next to you? Our theories about what's going to happen in
my predictions. My predictions.
Yeah. So
yes,
that'll be fun.
Yes, it will.
Yeah. So, but for now, we dealing with Droughtlander, and we'll just have to get through it. Hopefully, for not too long. I'm hoping we get something, some kind of news or trailer, something before next year.
Next year. It needs to be next year. It's okay if it's August of next year.
Well, you know what? Now that I think about it, we may get some kind of update or news in October, because I do know that Outlander usually has a presence at New York Comic Con, and I do believe I saw something about them being there this year. And usually the stars come over for that. I think last year Katrina didn't, because of COVID and because of the fact that she just had a baby. So if they do that this year, I would assume that they would have something ready to show the fans, even if it's just a teaser trailer, just to talk about where the story is going to go and stuff like that. So we may have something to talk about in October, Outlander wise. You know?
And if it's 17 episodes, why can't we do a part 1 and a part 2?
No.
Split it up. And just make me wait 4 weeks.
No, because let me tell you that so we're dealing with that right now with The Walking Dead final season. And so they gave us 24 episodes for the final season. Because they had to give us an abbreviated 10th season because of COVID. So we got 8 episodes in the fall. Then we got the second 8 episodes starting in February. Those ended in April.
Okay.
We're not getting the last final 8 episodes until October 2nd. I don't want to deal with any kind of hiatus with this show.
That's too long. I said honestly, like 4 weeks.
Yeah. Honestly, we probably will. If they end up coming back next fall, they probably will split it up. They'll probably do like 7 or 8 episodes right before Christmas, and then give us a break, and then probably come back in February for the remainder episodes. That might be how they do it. I don't want them to do it that way, because I really would like to see episode by episode by episode with no break, because by that point Droughtlander will have been long enough. But if that's how they do it, that's how they do it. Like if they can give us the first 7 episodes while they're still editing the last the last half. Okay, I'll take that. I'll take
Right.
that.
That I would take that
I don't
other than
necessarily
waiting
want
another
it that way.
year and a half.
This is true. This is true. So if that will shorten our wait time, if that will shorten Droughtlander, then yes, I'll take it if you split it up.
Mm-hmm.
But just don't give us 8 episodes and then make us wait 3-4 months and then give us because you might as well just call that another season. So no,
Yeah.
hopefully they won't do that to us though.
No.
So, but yeah, if it'll get rid of Droughtlander earlier, I'll take it. I'll take it. So, oh, okay. Well, let's see. Anything else we want to discuss about the series finale, or did we cover it all? Again, Fisher folk need to go.
Evicted from the
They
property.
need to be evicted
Now.
No, look, do not pass go, do not collect $200. Get the fuck off my property now.
No, I think we covered everything and make predictions for next season.
Okay. All right. Well, starting Droughtlander now. That's it for our show. You can find us online at www.fandomhybrid.com. We are on social media on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Fandom Hybrid. You can watch our videos on our YouTube channel and listen to us on all major podcast streaming platforms. Thanks for listening. We hope you join the conversation next time.